They are the silent warriors, the ghosts in the night, the men and women who do what others can't. Today, we're counting down the top 10 greatest special forces teams in history. But beware, our list is ranked from worst to best, so stick around to see which elite force reigns supreme at number 1. Before we dive in, smash that like button, subscribe for more epic military content, and let's get into it. Number 10. The People's Liberation Army Special Operations Forces, China. Now don't get me wrong, China's PLA Special Operations Forces, PLA SOF, are no pushovers. They've got numbers, training, and cutting-edge tech at their disposal, but in the world of elite warriors, they fall short. China has invested heavily in modernizing its special forces, focusing on counterterrorism, reconnaissance, and urban warfare. However, many critics argue that the training focuses more on brutal endurance tests rather than strategic execution. Their selection process is intense, but it lacks the depth of some of the other units on this list. Why? Their biggest weakness is real combat experience. Unlike many other teams on this list, China's special forces haven't been truly tested in major modern conflicts. They've got all the gear, but do they have the grit? Only time will tell. Number 9. GIGN, France. The Groupe d'Intervention de la Gendarmerie Nationale, or GIGN, is one of the most hardcore counter-terrorism units in the world. Born out of the 1970s hijacking crisis, these guys are the masters of hostage rescues. Notable missions: 1976, Djibouti hostage crisis. GIGN stormed a hijacked school bus, neutralizing terrorists with 0 hostage casualties. 1994, Air France Flight 8969. 4 terrorists hijacked an Airbus A300 in Algiers. GIGN stormed the plane, rescuing all 173 passengers and crew. 2015, Charlie Hebdo attacks. GIGN led the operation against radical terrorists who attacked the French satirical newspaper. Number 8. Sayeret Matkal, Israel. Israel's Sayeret Matkal is the ultimate intelligence gathering and counter-terrorism unit. These guys are experts in stealth, capable of infiltrating enemy territory unnoticed. Why they're elite? Covert reconnaissance. They operate deep behind enemy lines, gathering intelligence and sabotaging enemy operations. Counter-terrorism. They conduct hostage rescues, similar to the US Delta Force. Rigorous training. Candidates undergo an 18-month training cycle with a dropout rate of over 80%. Most famous operation, Entebbe, 1976. A group of Israeli commandos flew to Uganda to rescue 100 hostages from a hijacked plane, and they pulled it off flawlessly. Why number 8? While their impact is undeniable, they focus more on intelligence and counter-terrorism rather than large-scale combat operations. Number 7. Spetsnaz, Russia. If you want sheer brutality, look no further than Russia's Spetsnaz. These warriors train under insane conditions, grueling physical tests, brutal close-quarters combat, and a survival of the fittest mentality. Notable combat experience: Chechen wars, urban warfare, and counter-terrorism. Ukraine, 2014 to present. High-risk intelligence missions and sabotage. Syrian civil war, assisting Russian military operations against ISIS. But their biggest weakness is discipline and organization. While effective, Spetsnaz has a reputation for being a little reckless. Number 6. The British SAS, United Kingdom. Who dares wins. That's the motto of the legendary Special Air Service, better known as the SAS. These guys literally wrote the book on modern special operations. Why they are legendary: pioneers of deep infiltration tactics, World War II origins, trained US Delta Force. Many Delta operators learn from SAS instructors. Major role in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. So why aren't they higher? They're incredible, but newer units have evolved past even their legendary tactics. Number 5. JTF-2, Canada. The Phantom Warriors JTF-2, or Joint Task Force 2, is Canada's ultra-secretive special forces unit, and while they may not have the same Hollywood-level recognition as the SEALs or SAS, make no mistake, these guys are absolutely lethal. What makes JTF-2 so elite? They specialize in counter-terrorism, direct action raids, intelligence gathering, and long-range precision shooting. Their operations are so secretive that the Canadian government rarely acknowledges their existence. A JTF-2 sniper holds the record for the longest confirmed kill in history, a staggering 3,540-meter, 2.2-mile shot in Iraq. How deadly are they? During operations in Afghanistan, they worked alongside Delta Force Force and British SAS, engaging Taliban and Al-Qaeda fighters in some of the most intense firefights imaginable. They didn't just survive, they dominated. JTF-2 is one of the best-kept secrets in the Special Forces world, but because their missions are highly classified, their full capabilities are still shrouded in mystery. If more of their ops became public, they might even crack the top 3. Number 4. The Green Berets, United States. Masters of unconventional warfare, the U.S. Army Special Forces, better known as the Green Berets, are not your typical door kickers. These guys are strategic warriors, covert operatives, and masters of guerrilla warfare. What makes the Green Berets so unique? They don't just fight, they train and build armies. Their job is to turn small groups of rebels into fully functional, well-trained fighting forces. Green Berets were instrumental in the early days of Afghanistan, when they linked up with the Northern Alliance to topple the Taliban using a combination of strategy, brute force, and even horseback combat. They are experts in languages, cultural warfare, and psychological operations. A legendary operation, in Operation Viking Hammer 2003, a small team of Green Berets and Kurdish Peshmerga fighters wiped out an entire terrorist stronghold in northern Iraq, eliminating over 300 enemy fighters in a single operation. Number 3. The Navy SEALs, United States, America's amphibious assassins. When people think of badass special forces, Navy SEALs are usually the first that come to mind. They're Hollywood legends, but their real-world operations are even more intense than anything you see in movies. What makes the Navy SEALs so dangerous? Their training is one of the most brutal in the world. Bud-S training has a 75 to 80% failure rate. Candidates endure weeks of hellish conditioning, sleep deprivation, and grueling tests of endurance. SEAL Team 6, also known as DevGRU, Naval Special Warfare Development Group, is one of the deadliest counterterrorism units on the planet. SEALs are masters of amphibious warfare, making them the only elite force that dominates both land and sea. Legendary operations: Operation Neptune Spear, 2011, the raid that took down Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. SEAL Team 6 flew into enemy territory, breached a compound filled with hostiles, and eliminated the world's most wanted terrorist. The Battle of Mogadishu, 1993, SEALs fought alongside Delta Force in the brutal street battles that inspired Black Hawk Down. Number 2. Delta Force, United States, the Ghost Unit. If the US needs a high-value target neutralized, they don't call the SEALs first, they call Delta Force. What makes Delta Force so elite? Delta operators are selected from only the best special forces in the US military. Most come from Rangers, Green Berets, and even SEALs. Their missions are 100% classified. Unlike the SEALs, whose major operations often make headlines, Delta's biggest victories remain in the shadows. They specialize in covert operations, hostage rescues, and high-stakes raids deep in enemy territory. Legendary operations: Operation Red Dawn, 2003. Delta Force captured Saddam Hussein in a dramatic underground raid. The Battle of Mogadishu, 1993. Delta operators fought off hundreds of enemy fighters while trying to rescue downed helicopter pilots. Why aren't they number 1? While Delta Force is arguably the deadliest American unit, one special forces team is even more elite, secretive, and versatile. Number 1. The British SBS, United Kingdom, the ultimate special forces unit. What makes the Special Boat Service, SBS, the number 1 special forces unit in the world? They are even more secretive than Delta Force. Most people don't even know about them. SBS members undergo the same legendary SAS selection process, but with an even more brutal focus on maritime warfare, counterterrorism, and deep cover espionage. They work closely with MI6 and other intelligence agencies, meaning their operations involve more strategic infiltration and assassination rather than just brute force. Legendary operations: 1980 Iranian embassy siege. SBS and SAS operators rescued hostages and neutralized terrorists in one of the most famous hostage rescues of all time. The Falklands War, 1982. SBS conducted covert missions that crippled Argentine forces before the main British invasion. Why are they number 1? They combine the stealth of SEALs, the precision of Delta, and the versatility of the SAS. They're the world's most elite warriors, operating where others can't and succeeding where others would fail. Who do you think deserves the top spot? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more epic content.